everybody, and welcome back to another exciting episode of 31 Days of Indie Horror. I'm your host, Jonathan Mitty, and I've got two awesome guests. One who's never been on this show before, so I'm excited to welcome her. Please welcome Nicole Sixx. How you doing, Nicole?
Hello, good evening. I brought wine.
Oh, well, I think
you're prepared. I like that.
You might need it. I don't know. Talking about this movie, but next we also have somebody who was here. I think you were on the last season's show, right? Like you were on for last season.
Yes.
31 days.
Yes.
Yes. So please welcome Dale Niehaus. How are you doing, Dale?
I'm doing good. Apparently I'm traveling in space because of this background, but yeah, I'm doing good actually. How you doing?
I was actually using that background earlier. It's a pretty cool one. I like it.
I just figured that out tonight actually by clicking, as I didn't know how to do the backgrounds until now. So mind blowing.
I came up with this. This was the best I could do. It's just a blur. I've used the space one before, but I couldn't find it. So it's a good thing because now you're in space.
The blur works. The blur works. The blur works for you. I like that.
I do my indie film cafe for I think all of them. So I mean, just and if I do another show, I do it. I put that on there. But this is for Indie Film Cafe. So welcome guys. So we got to watch. Now we're reviewing Adam and Evil, and yeah. So okay, I'm gonna tell you guys this. When I first heard the title, I got really excited because I thought it was literally going to be about Adam and Eve, like coming back from the dead or something and killing people, or whatever. Like maybe Adam had to, maybe that would be Adam versus Evil. Maybe somebody should make that. I don't know. I'm coming up with ideas, but that would be fun. But no, this was about a guy named Adam. And I guess there's a girl named Evelyn, so it's the closest to evil,
Yeah, it was. I mean, not to say anything, but like they kind of made a lot of stuff pretty obvious.
Right, and we can spoiler. By the way, we can do spoilers because if you haven't, you can watch this movie on Tubi. Go check it out. But we're gonna have to do spoilers because there's a lot of stuff in here that I was just like okay, or I actually liked. There were a few things I liked. So first of all, it was a slasher film, and it's your typical early 2000s slasher. It's not early. In the early 2000s, they made a ton of these movies. They were usually a ripoff of Scream in some way or another, a killer in a mask, killing everybody off. And this movie was no different. People going to a cabin in the woods. They didn't even go to a cabin. They went into like woods. To camp, and it's kind of
tense.
Yeah, they couldn't afford the cabin, I guess.
That's what I was thinking. I'm like, the director couldn't get a cabin.
Yeah,
but they got a shack though. They got like a shed. They at least did have that with a cool wooden door that slid though. I did like that. That was actually kind of cool. But
yeah,
no cabin.
Shed was pretty nice, but no cabin. I thought they were going to a cabin, like the way they sounded like they were going to like some kind of lake house, but they were camping out in the woods right by the lake, which was pretty cool. And it's pretty much like one full day or maybe two, but like it happens like, well, I guess it's 2 days. So it begins with like a dream, a flashback dream that the guy's having. I guess he's been having it a lot lately or whatever, Adam. And he has this dream about the fire that happened that he thought he started by accident.
At first, they don't tell us that. At first, you're like, what is going on? You're like, why is he so upset about this fire? Who are these people?
Yeah.
Right. You had no idea. You just saw like him like, get out, and seeing these people on fire, and then saw the really messed up face. You're like, how does this have anything to do with them? He just had no idea. It just kind of was like, that's really interesting.
Yeah. And you don't even know. Yeah, you're right. You don't even know that he feels guilty about that. Like that was whatever. You just see the fire happen, and stuff. So, but he wakes up and he's, deciding that they're about to go on their like little trip to the woods. And there's a whole group of people, man. I'm like,
there was a lot of bodies.
I think, obviously that was the reason, right? So that they could have a body count. But like, I'm like thinking, all right, when you guys grew up, did you guys have this many friends that just all like hung out together, and they were like boy, girl, boy, girl, boy. You know what I mean? There was no like,
Right. Yeah, I know exactly what you mean. And no,
I do
it never
too.
works that way.
No, it does never works out. Usually there's like, one or two girls and there's like 10 guys or something like that. Usually is how it works out. Seems like.
right.
Mhm.
It's usually a sausage fest for most of these things anyway, because
Yeah.
girls don't feel comfortable randomly going with, and especially since most of these girls didn't even people didn't even seem to really know each other that well at times, or whatever,
When I said that they kind of gave a lot away, like when they randomly introduced you to the character named Evelyn, who they've only known 6 months, who happens to be a troubled foster kid.
right. So you're like,
So it was
that's
at that
got to be
point
the
in
killer.
movie, I'm like, oh, this is how this is going. Okay.
That's gonna be the killer. It was the only thing. Like, okay, I'm gonna skip to the end real quick because I do want to not want to forget this, but this really bothered me that
Okay.
when horror films, like slashers especially, when they try to do like a trick at the end, and you think like maybe Evelyn's dead or something, or whatever, and it turns out to be her all along. Or whatever, you just get kind of, I just get frustrated because I'm like, because you don't really see Evelyn that much through it, but then when you do see her, she, at the end especially, like you're like, okay, something's gonna happen with that, and obviously, you're like, I knew, like, I was like, okay, either Evelyn's the killer or Evelyn's gonna get killed. That was just
I didn't know why. Like, I didn't know what her motivation was. So I had to wait until the final speech for that. But I could just tell that she was supposed to be, because like they had the red herring set up with Shane. And that's like obviously not Shane. So you spend this whole time with the characters all thinking it's Shane, but anyone who's watching in the audience knows it's clearly not.
Yeah, poor Shane, man. He got ran into, he got stabbed. He just got the works done to him. Poor guy, he wasn't even the one. Man.
Well, he wasn't the one, but okay, I got mad because he was there to cause problems or something, and then he kind of stepped into this like trouble, that he didn't realize was going to be happening. But when I started thinking, what was he going to do? Like, what was his prank?
At first I thought the fireworks were him. I didn't know it was the killer. I thought maybe that was what he was going to do.
Yeah, right. And they didn't even in the movie too. The guys didn't even pull a prank that they were going to do. It just went straight to all of a sudden like, oh well, his friend's dead. He must have killed him. It was just like, but they didn't even pull a prank. What prank were they going to pull? They didn't even talk about that. It was just like, what are they going to do?
I mean, I don't know. It almost felt like it was an afterthought of like they wrote it, then they're like, we need to have a reason why these guys are there, to be looking like they are the killer. Because I knew Shane wasn't the killer anyway, because
everyone knows that. I mean, it was so obviously just like set up to like be a distraction.
Right. It was obvious. But then again, this was made in, like early 2000s. And early 2000s, people weren't really used to this thing necessarily. Sure. So the things that we know now, we've seen this a million times. This was still sort of fresh. It was probably already been used and done, but it was still sort of fresh enough where if I were watching it in 2004, I'd be like, oh shit, Shane must be the killer, or whatever. But it's a Scream trope. In Scream, they always make somebody look like they're the killer, and then it turns out not to be the killer.
Yeah, except with the original Scream, where they made it look like it was Skeet Ulrich, and then it turned out to actually be Skeet Ulrich, but just not alone.
But they did it in a really way, because
I really like the original Scream. It's one of my favorite.
Yeah. I do too. I love the original Scream. It was phenomenal.
It changed the game for slashers. Like after that, they had to get way more creative.
Yeah,
and not just that, it gave slashers like an edge to be able to go and do it some more, because I think at that point when Scream was coming out, slashers were sort of like, other than like Jason, even Jason had stopped. Jason died on Jason Went to Hell or whatever. So in 94 and 96 was when Scream came out. So a lot of those franchises had died down, like Freddy Went to Hell or whatever, everybody was done. And so they were like, let's do something more. was something else, and they decided to do Scream, which helped revitalize the genre. And then all of a sudden it became more like PG-13 slashers, like this is more.
Everybody always asks me who my favorite horror director is, because I'm friends with James Wan from a long time ago on MySpace, back before he was James Wan. So we just kept in touch. But Wes Craven, totally my favorite. Like, I think he was the original creative genius.
Yes, phenomenal. Wes Craven was such a genius when it came to horror films. So
yeah.
amazing.
Well, Scream is like my favorite horror film. Like, I've always say there's two things. The movie that scares me the most is Evil Dead.
Okay.
And I don't even know, like, it's not even that scary. It's just, I think if you actually listen to it with like Dolby surround sound and stuff, it'll freak you the hell out. But Scream is my favorite horror film of all time. And it's the movie that got me back into horror. So
it is definitely one of my top 10. Sometimes I just say it's my top. Sometimes I just say it's number one, but there's so many out there. But the thing I love about Scream is it was so, I could quote the whole thing. It was so well written. Like, I fucking love it. Oh, and sorry. I don't know if I'm allowed to swear.
No, you're allowed to swear. You're fucking allowed to swear. All right.
So, fucking swear all we fucking want. Let's say fuck. There you go.
There you go. Well, Kevin Williamson went on to do I Know What You Did Last Summer, which is another slasher that kind of brought out the slashers. He did Faculty, which was semi-slasher.
I like Faculty. That was dark and fun.
It was a lot of fun.
And was able to take a slasher and do sci-fi with the slashers.
Mm-hmm.
It slashed genres. So, I mean, that it was fucking cool. And then, so it did lead to movies like this, or one of my favorites that I want to do someday on one of these, reviews, is a movie made by David Dakota called the Final Stab, which they originally wanted to call Final Scream, but they got sued by the Weinstein people because of that. So they ended up calling Final Stab because Stab's the name of the thing or whatever. And it was pretty much just a ripoff of Scream, but it wasn't like a Scream movie. It was just a, slasher. It's a teen Scream, which is what this is, So a lot of movies got made like this, and they're pretty much a lot of the same thing. Bunch of horny teenagers get together, hang out. You've got the stereotypes. You get the main guy. You didn't have a final girl in this necessarily. It was a final guy in this, which I thought was pretty cool. Because it was.
That's a good point. That's a very good point. They usually don't do that.
That's a really good point. You're right. That is a twist how it usually is. I didn't even think about that till now.
Yeah, I mean, it's usually a final girl. But it's a final guy in this one. Like I said, David Dakota, who's gay, did that for a lot of stuff. If he did a slasher, he had a guy, or whatever. But he had like a little homosexual undertones to it, which this didn't have anything like that. It was very much, this was made for teen guys, to watch or whatever. I did love the who are your favorite characters in this, if you guys had any?
I can't remember his name, but he was the total jerk off that was the best friend, the one that died almost last.
Okay, I'm trying to remember. You're right. Let me look it up. I think I know who you're talking about. And if I say his name, you'll probably it might recall. Mine's both the sheriff and his wife. I don't know. They were just, to me, they were fun. They kind of just, what?
No, I was gonna let you continue, then I'll talk.
Oh, I just said, yeah. I mean, those were my favorite characters, were the sheriff and his wife.
I love the wife. I thought it was really well developed, and I also thought it was really well acted. Like, you could tell that actress put a lot of work into that.
Yeah, the wife was actually one of my favorites. I was gonna say, because she played that role. It was just the way she played it. You could tell she was experienced with acting. The character was well developed. There was so much to it. She was just like, man, she's such a slut, but she really pulled that off really good. But yeah, I'd say the wife was my favorite in that.
I liked her a lot.
So was
Yeah.
it Matt? Was Matt the one, or was it Shane?
You know what I mean? The one that was like, he was the main comic relief, basically.
Oh yeah. He- sort of the one always making jokes and stuff.
Yeah.
About it. And
Mhm.
I also I kind of felt bad for the virgin character, the guy that
Oh my God,
you know
yes.
that made it with the wife or whatever, like just because like his character got shot down so bad. And I'm just like, that dude's actually like, I mean, I'm straight, but like that dude's kind of
No,
a
he
good
was-
looking dude.
Yeah. He was
Like,
attractive and nice.
yeah,
I don't know.
And as soon as he got laid, he got fucking killed.
Yeah.
Did you notice too that he took like 4 or 5 of those Viagras too?
Well, they didn't show it, but they alluded to chopping off his dick. So I'm guessing when they wrote it, they were actually probably picturing like the whole erect dick when they cut it off, but they didn't show it.
They probably
okay.
didn't. Yeah, that was probably a they had to do that for like ratings or something.
Yeah.
I wonder if there's an unrated version of this or something out there, where they actually showed that scene or something. But that almost feels like a trauma thing, like cutting off a dick, like showing it. You don't.
And again, it was like a pulsating dick is what it would look like. It'd be like
Oh
big
my God,
and like
yes.
full of blood. Like it'd be really funny.
It would just
would
keep
be
pulsating
funny.
afterwards.
It
It's
almost
squirting everywhere.
it almost doesn't feel in tone to this movie, like it would.
Yeah.
It would feel like they were like it was so random. But I don't know. I would have laughed at it. I would have been like, okay, that just happened, like, but I don't know. There's so much, like when they showed up to the pool hall, that scene actually, I had a lot of fun with that, especially like the sheriff, who I didn't realize was the sheriff at first. Did you guys realize that? Like, I guess.
Yeah.
I saw the shirt he was wearing. I saw the
Yeah,
sheriff
that's
shirt. And I kind of thought that he was some type of local law enforcement, but he wasn't like super like, I'm all about my job, but yeah, I could tell he was some type of small town like sheriff or law enforcement or something.
Like he wasn't saying, like, hey, I'm the sheriff of this town or whatever.
Right.
At first, he did say it later, or something, I think, when he pulled them over. That was actually a good scene too. I'm just thinking about that, is that scene where they kept driving away from the cop. And I'm like, I get it. Like at this point, you don't know who the killer is, like it could be the sheriff. It could be, whatever. I mean, at that point, you gotta be careful, but they went away from the cop, and the cop, pulled them over eventually. And they were able to go in there. I didn't think it was going to go that way. I thought those guys were going to die like right there, like whoever was going to kill them was going to kill them there while they were stopped,
They had to have a house to set on fire.
Dad?
Oh, they're the
That's right.
revenge factor. Yep. Yep. That's a good point. Yeah, they had to get to the house for it to be lit on fire and for them to almost be trapped inside and die.
Yeah. Well, at the time when I was thinking about it, I didn't even think about the house. I didn't think it was going to come back.
No, I didn't think so either. But that's why
either.
they ended up at the house. It doesn't rationally make sense, but it helps with.
Yeah. Why wouldn't you bring him to the freaking station? Because they need to go to a house. Like it just makes no sense. Like, hey, I'll bring you to my house. I would have been like, let me go to the station, because like at that point, even saying like, hey, we're telling you all of this stuff and everything, he still could have been the killer,
Right.
I'm wondering if they didn't have it in the budget to get an actual station. So maybe that's why they went to the house. I mean, there's always that possibility too. You never know.
That's true. Well, if they couldn't afford a cabin, they probably couldn't afford a police station. I don't know.
Who knows?
It was so strange. They were telling them they had to walk up, like, walk to like the other station or something. And I'm like, how do these people know where the fuck they are? Or they don't even have any maps or anything. And they're just like,
Not even a compass.
not even a compass. They're just
No.
walking. It just was so strange. Such a strange. I mean, the movie isn't bad. Like we said, it's just, it's sort of like it does things that are kind of like low budget. Like they didn't have, any ideas. What did you guys think of the what did you guys think of the caretaker guy?
I thought he was going to swallow that toothpick. That was my first original impression. He kept moving it around. I'm like, he's going to choke on that thing.
Wouldn't it be horrible if, like, all of a sudden, the beginning of the film, the caretaker they think is killed, all of a sudden he chokes to death and dies on the toothpick?
Oh man.
You know?
Well, you know what? That would have been a different part of the movie. Like,
Oh, yeah.
That's how the killer killed him. He just made him choke on his own toothpick. That would have been a cool death. I don't know.
That would be very clever. Yeah. That'd be cool.
That would be different than I forgot how he died. Like, that was the other thing about the deaths. A lot of the deaths were kind of boring.
He got killed
he fell on his own axe. It was a very stupid.
In that garage where it was when it was that the Shane guy that was in there with him.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's right. That's totally okay. Just like I said,
stabbed himself pretty much.
I didn't watch it today. I watched it a couple days ago, so I'm still trying to remember all the stuff. It wasn't completely fresh in my head, but when did you guys watch it?
Today.
I watched it today as well.
Okay. Yeah. It's been a busy day, so didn't have time. But I totally love that. And I'm glad you guys were able to see it. What did you guys think? Was there anything that you guys saw that you were like, oh my God, this is weird or stupid?
It took me a while to realize those little sticks were Roman candles. I was like, what are those sticks?
Yeah, I didn't recognize what that was too. I was like, is that a tube? What is that? And then I found out the Roman candle. I was like, I didn't know that until he said it.
Yeah.
So was the Roman candles and the candle stuff, was that supposed to symbolize the fire that, was
started? Because it started with Roman candles.
Yeah, because Adam thought that he caused them to die because starting the fire with the Roman candle. And obviously we find out it was different. So that was trying to symbolize, hey, this is, getting back at you for the family dying, basically.
Yeah.
Or was it also trying to like make it look like it could have been Adam who was killing everybody?
I don't think so, but we don't know what Evelyn had planned.
True.
Yeah. What was Evelyn's plan? Like, she wasn't planning on going to that house,
Right.
And then she just started killing everybody randomly. Like, it would have been really cool if she just kept setting everybody on fire. She's like, I just like fire.
Cool. Also, that mask she showed at the end with the half-burned face, it would have been cool if we got to see more of that. Like, I don't know if you've ever watched Valentine with David Boreanaz, but the Cuban mask was really fucking cool. And that mask, it's a slasher. It would have been great to see just like this random woodsman in that mask just murdering people.
That's right. You never see the killer much,
No, you never see the face really at all in this whole thing up until the end when she shows the mask. But it would have been cool in different scenes, like after you revealed the killer, like somewhat, just show like that deformed face, and just it would have really added to more of the horror and the scary effect to the fact that this killer looks fucked up.
Yeah, for sure.
I agree. It's funny. I think for something that was made low budget, they probably didn't have any real plans to make this like a huge, franchise or anything. I don't think they were planning Adam and Evil 2, though maybe with the ending, right? Like,
they left her alive.
They left her alive.
Also, it's going to sound silly, but it bothered me that they put her in a straitjacket and in her underwear. She would definitely be wearing some form of bottoms.
I was wondering that too. I was like, why is she in her underwear, not wearing? Because usually they're going to have them in some type of scrub pants or something, and something in there,
Yeah, well, I was like, wait. So when I saw her in that thing, I knew she was going to be like in a straitjacket, or whatever. So I was like, oh, she's in the I love you jacket, like that's what I call them. I love me jacket, and I thought it was it was interesting that they decided. I was that for sex appeal or something? I don't know.
I guess it didn't make a lot of sense rationally.
Maybe they didn't have bottoms for her, and they're like, well, nobody will care. It's a silly slasher film where it's hot girls anyway getting killed or whatever. Which my buddy Paul hates slashers for that reason. That it's always like hot girls getting killed, or hot guys getting killed or whatever, it's like the people that people are attracted to just being murdered,
Yep.
like whatever. And that's like, that is 90% of, probably 99% of slashers. There's never really, they never go after the, unattractive people, or whatever for these movies. And they find people, I hate to say it, some of them looked similar to each other. I could not tell the difference between.
I agree.
Like,
there are a couple of girls I got them confused.
and
too.
Yeah, like that. What's the girl that turned him down? That went skinny dipping or whatever. I got her. What?
I said I don't remember her name.
Yeah, I don't
can't
remember
either.
any of the people's names, but they like those two. There's two girls that were just
Yep.
like almost identical.
Never mind, it wouldn't. I can't remember her name. I thought I remember for a minute, and I'm like, I can't remember what it is. So never
Yeah.
mind.
It's
I've seen
okay.
her in something else. I should look up her IMDb because I was like, I recognize her. It might be from a TV show or something, but she's been in something else.
Well, I think some of these people have, but some
I'm
people
sure they
have not. Most of the people have not. I've never even heard of most of these actors, which kind of surprised me. Because usually there's at least one star in it, or something in these things, and there wasn't in it, because Yvette, was that her name? Or
Yeah, you bet.
Yeah, Yvette was that was the girl, the one who kept rejecting the virgin.
Yeah, she's only been in 3 things. So Engagement Party, Beneath, and Adam and Evil. So I don't know what Beneath is. I've heard of it, I think. So is that
I think I've seen Engagement Party.
okay?
I'm not sure. I definitely have seen her in something though.
Okay. Her name is Lindsay Brothers. So
Okay.
and Yvonne, there's Yvonne. So there's Yvette and Yvonne, and I think they both look very similar to each other and stuff.
Oh, yeah, they
And
do.
she was in like Supernatural. She's been in what is it? That might be the girl you're thinking of, because she's got
I
a
think
lot.
it is. Yeah.
Yeah.
It might be Yvonne. Sorry, they sound
Well,
the same.
they sound the same, they look the same. It's like almost,
They do look
it's
the same. My
so
God.
funny. No, but she's been in a lot of stuff. She was in the L Word, the long.
I probably saw her in Supernatural. I watch a lot of Supernatural. And I feel like it was a TV show, so
Yeah.
I also think I've seen Engagement Party though. Like that sounds really familiar.
Yeah. So maybe, I don't know. I don't know any of these things except Supernatural, obviously.
She
And
was. Oh, and yeah, that the Erica girl that played. Yeah, she was in. I remember in Blade Trinity. Yeah, because I looked up the goth wannabe. She was in that shop, the vampire shop in Blade Trinity, where she was the goth girl.
Okay.
Okay. So that's probably her, Erica Carrera or Cara or something. She was in a
Something like
bunch of
that.
stuff. So she's probably, so far it looked like she was the one with the most credits to her name.
Yeah, and I didn't even look at her earliest thing. I don't know if 2004 was when she kind of started. I haven't looked back at it yet, but
I think she started before then, but it's okay. Like,
Yeah.
she's been doing, so she was in Power Rangers, she was in tons of stuff. So
Wow.
well, the
wow.
movie,
Okay.
the new like 2017 or whatever it was movie.
Right.
Oh, okay.
I tried watching that, but I had to, just like you said, you had to turn off It Follows. I had to turn off Power Rangers. After a while, I was just like, okay, I can't. Nope. This is ruining my childhood. I grew up on Power Rangers, so
Aye.
what?
I said aye.
Yeah. So anyway, to go back to Adam and Evil. So like, what were you kind of were you guys expecting anything when you heard the title? Did you think anything was gonna specifically happen?
I expected some sort of female seductress.
Right, because that was the whole point of Eve, right?
Yeah.
Eve was like a was it bite the apple
Interest.
kind of thing, and stuff. What did you think, Dale?
I kind of expected the evil part for Eve, like to have something to like a complete opposite of him, but like almost like a sister or girlfriend or something, to where the other part was just she was evil and maybe had something. Because watching the beginning of it, I didn't, it kind of threw me off. as seeing the little girl up in the fire there, and I was just like, is this little girl causing them to not want to leave or what? But then finding out that was the family. So I just was kind of thinking maybe it's I don't know, something that really correlates with him, and then come to find out that the killer, the evil one in there, actually was just somebody they met 6 months ago. So kind of threw me off, just because I was expecting there to be some more chemistry or more connection with the evil character with Adams. So it just was like, this really threw me off. I wasn't expecting that.
It would have been cool if she was like the reincarnation of Eve or something, like you know what I mean? Like, but that would probably be done now because of like Supernatural. As we've said before, if we watch Supernatural, we know like people like possess, angels possess humans in that show or whatever. So like a lot of movies after Supernatural came out and started doing that stuff, they started kind of copying that and started going, okay, we can put angels and demons together and kind of make, and they even had, I think they had Eve, didn't they? And
there was Eve character in the show Lucifer.
I think there was one in Supernatural. I'm not sure.
There might have been.
There was someone named Eve. Yes, I don't remember the plot.
Okay, I think she was supposed to be the Eve, the original Eve or so, but I don't know.
I remember Eve, the mother of monsters.
That's who it was. Okay,
that's right. And then in Lucifer, it was the actual Eve that they actually had on the show. But yeah, you're right. Eve, the mother of monsters, was in Supernatural.
I need to watch Lucifer because I tried watching it. I watched the pilot and I dug it, but I was like, you know what I mean? Like, am I going to keep watching it? Kind of thing. There's so much stuff, and so I'll probably will. But
I watched 2 episodes, but then I kind of didn't like how they were trying to make him more human. I'm like, I want him to be a bad boy. You know what I mean? He's the devil.
I like Lucifer and Supernatural. I dug him in that, and so that's sort of the perfect way to do him. So I feel now if you kind of make him like that in anything.
This is gonna sound silly, but I liked him in End of Days when he was played by Gabriel Byrne. I thought he was super hot.
Okay, I can see that.
Because there was this intensity that Gabriel brought to the character. Obviously Satan himself is probably not hot, but when you have an actor playing it and he's so intense and just so cool, that's what I want from my devil. I want him to be suave. I even liked he wasn't attractive, but he had this whole chemistry and interestingness in Constantine when he came down and he was the guy in white. Right. I like my devil to be the devil.
There was a movie I just recently reviewed with Paul that he really liked. It had Robert De Niro as the devil, and it was really good. Angel Heart was the movie, and he's. I'm not spoiling anything because literally the beginning of the film you can tell. He doesn't say it, but you're like, okay, this guy's got to be the devil. But right. What's his angle? What's going on? That's sort of the real story behind it. And I like that. I like movies where they have the devil in it.
Yeah, and, I think it's interesting. He's a trickster. He's there to tempt you. He's there to play with you. Basically, the devil is someone who's there to play with you and win whatever his gambit is.
So this movie would have been better, I think, had it done something with the Bible.
Had the evil been actually supernatural. Yeah, that would have been cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. Because the beginning, that's what threw me off. I was like, is this some supernatural element of why the family's in the house and they're not leaving, but then it was just kind of he was having a nightmare, but it was just but then it ended up not being supernatural. And it was just
yeah, it turned out that there were fireworks or whatever. And he thought he started it, but it was the fireworks that started it or whatever. And so I don't know. It's such such sort of a, an okay slasher film, Well,
I think I really liked I Know What You Did Last Summer because it reminded me a lot of I Know What You Did Last Summer.
Yeah, except sort of yeah, you're right.
Yeah, it did. You're right. It did.
Except, the cool thing about I Know What You Did Last Summer was the guy, you got to see the guy a lot in the like
again, they
the
had a mask
fisherman.
developed. They could have done that. I don't know why you would even waste the time making a mask for literally one scene.
Maybe it was like hard to kind of like, I don't know. It was a mask though. It wasn't like it was makeup, you know?
Yeah.
So it would have been cool just if they just kept, but then you would have maybe seen that it was a girl, you know? They would
That
have
could
had,
have been,
they would have had to like put something over her to like make it so you could not tell if it was a girl or a guy, kind of like Scream has the costume
yeah.
where you just can't tell. So whenever you see
Right.
Scream, you don't know if it's a guy or a girl, you know, whatsoever. And sometimes it is a guy or a girl, you know, you don't know, you know. So yeah, I dug that. But overall, I thought it was an okay movie. I thought it was you know, it was nothing to write home about. It's not something I would if people ask me would I recommend it, I would say if you like kind of boring slashers, you know, like you're into that stuff. If you want to see a slasher film, period, this, you know, and you haven't seen it, I'd recommend it seeing on Tubi for free. But
exactly what I'm thinking. I'm like, it's on Tubi. That's what I would tell them if they ask you if they should see it.
and
Well,
if
watch it free.
if I found it for like $2 on a DVD, I'd buy it, you know,
Yeah.
just to have it. But
Absolutely.
I wouldn't, you know, it's not something I'm going to be like, oh man, you know what today is? It's Adam and Eve evil time. I'm going to go watch this today. You know, it's not something I'm going to rewatch unless somebody kind of made me rewatch it or something or whatever. And then they'd probably be bored after a while and turn it off, you know, because I guarantee you, if you guys were watching this, but we're not planning to review it, you would have turned it off.
I think
pretty
so.
sure.
I don't think I would have finished. It is very slow.
I probably would have watched it for a few minutes and then be like, I'm just not really feeling this. And I'm like, no, I got to turn to something else.
Yeah. And that's the big thing. Like 31 days of indie horror, we're going to be doing 31 days. And a lot of them are Tubi movies, you know, are going to be movies you can find on Tubi. And some of these, I mean, there's so much out there that, you know, that's the problem, I think, right now. Anyway, there's too much content for people. So I don't know if you're ever like me, but like when I'm just, you know, looking on Tubi and I'm like, let's see if I can find something. And then I watch something for like 5-10 minutes. I'm like, oh, this is boring. Move on to the next one, next movie, potentially. And
well, the interesting thing about streaming is now we have a culture where we all can kind of watch horror movies like together as a whole society. Like the new thing that I checked out because everybody was talking about it was All of Us Are Dead, the Korean horror zombie TV series on Netflix for free. And like we can watch things on Tubi together. We can watch these things together as a society. And it's like bringing us back together in the way the movies used to when we'd all go to the actual theaters.
That's true. Or the movie store, you know?
Yeah, the movie store.
Nobody goes to movie stores anymore. You know?
Well, like here, a lot of them, like Family Video, they closed all those down. And I used to go to those a lot. That was a local one around here. And I'm sad that they closed a lot of them down.
Yeah, I mean, when my local Blockbuster closed, I was like, that's it. You know, it's done. You know, like that was sadly the last one, you know, in my town at that time. And people have tried to open up some, but like they don't really last very long because the truth
people barely even use Redbox anymore. It's just you don't really use DVD players the way you used to.
You just digitally stream. That's what everybody does anymore. Or they'll still go to theaters, but it's most of the time when you watch stuff, it comes out streaming, and there's no need for DVDs anymore. Sadly, you know.
I made sure I started going to the theater again because I wanted to. I missed the experience, but usually like when I went to see Scream, there was like less than 20 people in the audience. Like people aren't going to watch movies anymore.
There was 5 people in the audience when I went. I went about a week or two after it was out. Yeah, there wasn't hardly, and it was great, honestly, being in there with not having too many people. That was actually really enjoyable.
I think it is very enjoyable, but it makes me worry about theaters in their future.
I have like the Regal what is it membership thing, you know, where unlimited membership where I can watch as many movies as I want. I can only have 3, you know, at a time or whatever, like, you know, already booked. But I can go see as many as I want, you know, when I go see them. So I am gonna, you know, I'm gonna see the Batman when that comes out. I'm
gonna see Batman. I saw Moonrise. It looked cheesy as fuck, but I wanted to see those big CGI graphics on the big screen.
How was it?
Well, So you can tell from the commercials that there's some sort of like interesting alien life, obviously doing something to the moon.
Yeah.
So they kind of, it's really unbelievable.
Okay. Okay.
But it's worth a watch. Like I
Okay,
like
so-
it more than I liked Adam and Evil.
So you would suggest, like, if I went and paid to go see it, it wouldn't be complete, like, why did I waste my money?
I don't think it'll be like that. Like it's
Okay.
really cool to see like the big ass graphics. Like if you go for the graphics and the acting, Patrick Wilson's in it, Holly Berry's in it. Like it's got a great cast.
And I love Patrick Wilson's acting, so
Me too.
I'll go check it out. I will go check it out.
But it's I don't want to give it away, but it's the premise is pretty silly.
Right. My friend actually said I was there when he got a text from one of his friends saying, "Do you want to go see Moonfall?" And I said, or I looked at him and I was like, "You're gonna go see that?" And the guy had said, "Do you want to go see it and laugh?" At this, right? And he was like, "What's Moonfall?" I said, "It's this stupid, moon coming toward the Earth and all this." He was like, "Yes, I will go." And
I want to point out, the moon is coming to the Earth because of this alien force. So it's really we have to go kill this alien movie.
So really, technically, it's Independence Day 3.
Yes. And it's super silly. Like the premise of why the moon is thrown out of orbit is ridiculous, but there is a way to save Earth versus it just being, oh, well, the moon's coming at Earth, we're fucked.
Yeah.
Okay.
I just really got mad at that the director because he actually said he doesn't like franchises or Marvel movies. He hates Marvel movies.
And I remember that.
What?
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
And I was just like thinking, dude, you make movies that are stupider than Marvel movies, Like,
I love Independence Day, but it's been a long time since he's made something as good as Independence Day.
Independence Day was fun and enjoyable, but it was still stupid. I'm sorry. It was not.
This is gonna sound cheesy, but I like the speech that Bill Pullman gives.
And
I love Jeff Goldblum. Like I will watch pretty much anything with Jeff Goldblum in it.
Oh my God, yeah. Jeff Goldblum! My God, I love.
He should have been in Moonfall. Like he should have been in that. Like I just don't see why they wouldn't bring him back. As that scientist still or whatever. I don't know if he died in Independence Day. I forgot. I have it on Blu-ray. Just haven't seen it forever.
He survives Independence Day.
Yeah, he does.
There's a scene where you think they're fucked, but then Will Smith gets them out of it. So
yep,
of course, but he didn't. But neither of them, I don't think, came back for Independence Day 2. I don't think.
I didn't watch Independence Day 2.
You didn't want it to ruin your
Bill did though. I think he was back in that, but no, Will Smith was not in that one though. I didn't remember. I don't know if Jeff Goldblum was. I think he might have been, but I don't remember.
It's funny. It's like whatever that like we were saying, like this movie Adam and Evil is not on par to those things. Like not at all. Like it's an indie film, but it's and completely indie, but it's not completely stupid. You know what I mean? Like it's not silly, goofy. Whatever. It's more like they tried. To make something that they thought was going to be, a fun independent slasher. It just, I don't even think I was surprised to see it on Tubi, honestly, and I was glad to see it because I never saw it, I'd heard of it. And I was like, I gotta watch this movie. And I was like, I'll rate you guys in and make you guys watch it too. So.
Yeah, I definitely think it would have been better if it had a supernatural element. And I was expecting, I knew that there would be a woman villain, obviously, when it's Adam and Evil. But as I thought she'd be like some sort of wily seductress or something like, cliche, I guess.
Well,
oh yeah, like seducing kids into the woods so she can have their way with them and then kill them and slaughter them, or something.
That'd be great. I'd love that. I'd watch that movie.
Oh hell, I would too.
They missed the opportunity with the fucking the sheriff's wife. She could have been evil, or whatever. But they missed that. They decided to go with the other route. And that's fine. It reminds me like it could have gone the route of that, but there was at that time there were 2 films, I believe, around the same time or so, or maybe after this. But there were 2 movies. Decoys was one of them, and that was Aliens. Actually, both were aliens. The other one was Candy Stripers.
I
Both.
didn't see that. I watched some of Decoys on the Sci-Fi Channel. It was basically just like Species Light, but
Yeah.
I didn't see the other one. What was that about?
Pretty much aliens, invasion of the body snatchers, but with hot candy striping girls, or whatever,
cool.
candy stripers. So they're just, and they're, and how they get into you is they have to make out with you, and then they can transfer the thing. Of course, they have to make out with the person or whatever. It's silly and fun. I'm actually going to do it eventually for Indie Film Cafe because it's actually a fun movie. But once again, it's not like it's like this, where it's sort of like it's a fun movie, but it's not like a great movie, and it's not a terrible stinky movie. It's just sort of
I don't feel like I wasted my time. Like I'm okay watching it. I don't feel like I need that time back.
No, it's not time. Like you said, I need back. It was entertaining. It was definitely entertaining.
Okay, well, I guess that means we're coming to our rating, and I'm guessing people can kind of figure out what we're going to rate it, but I'm going to explain the stinkometer here. So for people who are just tuning in or whatnot, we have a thing called the stinkometer at Indie Film Cafe, and the stinkometer is a scale from 1 to 10, 1 being very excellent, good, whatever, the best of the best, and 10 being stinky and bad. And sometimes stinky can be fun, and we sometimes like stinky here, so we're okay with that. So that's why we created this. Well, Paul created the stinkometer to give us that. It is so it's 1 to 10. Also, you can do 0.5 if you feel like you can't tell. Like if you can't tell between 5 or 6, you do 5.5, 6.5, whatever. And then at the end of the year, we will tally up all of the movies, and we will that we have on the rating, and we will see which ones are the stinkiest, or which one is the stinkiest if there's one specific.
So it's between 1 and 10, right?
1 and 10.
Mm-hmm. Okay. I got my answer.
All right. We'll go with you first then, Nicole.
That's fine. I would give it a 6. Because it's a little bit better than average, like I would say, because it's not like a few movies where I wanted to turn it off, but it's also not like a great work of art. So I give it a 6.
That's a perfect analogy for it. What about you, Dale?
You actually stole that right out of my mouth. I was going to give it a 6 as well. Just because it wasn't the worst film I've ever seen. It's not the best. Overall, it was really entertaining. I mean, there was some cool aspects in it. I mean, you had the killer in there, and it kind of reminded me of some stuff I saw before, like I know what you did last summer, and of course the slasher in the woods, to where the teenagers were having sex and drinking, not necessarily doing drugs this time. But I mean, overall, it was entertaining. It was definitely not a waste of time. So yeah, I'm going to give it a 6.
All right. Well, I was going to give it a 5. So we're in the same ballpark pretty much, or whatever. I just think it's kind of a meh movie. Usually I give 5s to things I'm like, wasn't terrible, wasn't worth, it wasn't like a waste of time, as was said, but it wasn't really, it's not something I'm going to be running to watch again, anytime soon. I am very happy I saw it because the title is probably the best part of the movie, like
I kind of like the acting. Like nobody was really a bad actor.
No, that was a good point. You see some of these films that are kind of like, but the acting was like, oh my God, we're here in the woods. But this one actually, the acting was actually pretty decent. I mean, for the storyline, actually, acting was not bad at all.
And the music, like they used like a lot of like
they made their own score, because I was wondering that, and I looked at it. There were 2 people that made the score together, the director and this girl. I don't remember her name. So it was original music made just for the movie.
And there's also like songs that were probably picked out, that were, probably local bands or something. I got really disappointed because I just watched the trailer for it, and it starts out with Blur 2, or a Blur song 2, where it's like woohoo, right? And I'm like, wait a minute, no, that was not in the movie at all, They could not
I wonder how
afford.
much they had to pay for that. That was probably a huge budget for that. Like that must have cost them a lot.
I guarantee
Probably where a
you-
majority of their budget went to is actually for that.
why wouldn't they put it in the film? But I'm thinking that was a marketing thing. Like the marketing budget, whoever put it out, Lionsgate or whoever was the distributor for it, probably got the rights to that, music, and then was like, I'm gonna put this, I'm gonna we're gonna make it look like it's hip, edgy, whatever stuff from the early 2000s. And that song was not in the movie at all. And I was kind of bummed, that would have been awesome, but then again, I mean, it probably would have made this movie look like it's going to be better than it was.
Right.
So I'm kind of glad I saw it after, saw the trailer after. I usually like to watch the trailer after anyway, if I can avoid, the trailers or whatever, because especially with these indie films, a lot of them, they ruin the whole movie, just in the trailers. I'm sure you guys seen that a lot, so anywho, well, thank you guys so much for coming on the show. This is awesome. Nicole, can you tell people you're an author, right?
And
You are.
if you want to find my book, it's on Amazon, or you can order it at Barnes and Noble. It's called Some Fucked Up Shit. It's a collection of horror stories. Yes. And but follow me on @Nicole6Books on Instagram, or add me at NicoleH6 on Facebook so you can keep up with me. And I'm really easy to talk to. You can just slip into my inbox and I'll talk back, unless you're weird. I get some weird people, but for the most part, everybody's pretty cool.
Now I want to know what's the weirdest,
The most recent, this guy kept messaging me for like a year and a half, and all he would say is sexy, just that one word, in response to something I posted. And he didn't say what it was in response to. He would just literally message me the word sexy. And then last week he goes, so when can I take you on a date? And I said, I'm really interested in you that way. And then he goes, why? And I'm all, who asked why when someone says that? I'm like, because I don't really know you and I already am seeing someone. And then he unfriended me.
Oh, poor guy got turned down, and he was like, no. Oh, well,
I always used to think of him in my head as the sexy guy, because literally for a year and a half, all he did was send me that one word over and over and over.
That's
the
funny,
dude was
though.
relentless, wasn't he? Jeez. God.
So it was really crazy to go from that one word to let's go on a date. I was like, that was quite an extreme change up.
Wait, so did you ever respond to him when he said sexy? Did you say
no? No, I didn't.
You just left him on red or whatever?
Yeah, but I guess he thought he was making an impact. I don't know. Well, I mean, I didn't want to respond thanks or anything. I didn't want to lead it on.
Yeah.
I didn't know it.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Oh, my
That could have been
goodness.
bad. That could have been really bad.
That's kind of funny, though. That is funny.
I get other stuff too, this, and I don't want to say that one. That one, I don't want to put that poor person. They have something mentally wrong with them, I can tell, and I don't want to put them on blast. So never mind.
Okay.
We'll just go with sexy guy. Sexy guy is just your typical bro dude.
I feel bad a lot for girls on social media, because there are people, and it's not just guys too. Girls will message girls and say
I had a crazy chick say that she wanted to kill me by sticking a stake up my pussy. I blocked her. So yeah, it does come from both genders. Yeah, that was several years ago though.
Wait. Was she mad at you, or was this
apparently I friended her boyfriend on Facebook, which means he sent me a friend request and I said okay.
Oh my God, seriously?
So you're at fault. It's your fault.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Apparently you're too sexy. At least that's what that one guy thinks.
Man, Nicole, turn it down. Jeez.
I know, man. I mean, here I am looking like Hermione, but you can never tell what people are into.
It wasn't sexy guy, right? That girl was,
no. I unfriended her boyfriend too. I didn't want that drama, but I blocked her because she was terrifying.
Wow.
I'm friends with a lot of girls, period. Probably more so than dudes anyway. Like I
Yeah.
get along well more with girls. But I notice is like if I start dating somebody or start talking to somebody, they get really jealous. So like that's just one of the things, one of the red flags that I just look for anyway.
Yeah.
Because like I can't have that shit. People
No.
can't be bothering my friends, especially if I just add you because you're a writer and I want you to like come on my shows and stuff like that, or whatever. That does not mean I'm like messaging you these like whatever.
No, I thought you were very professional and very interesting. You
Oh,
are
thank you.
you're fine. I have
Okay.
seen much weirder.
Well, good. Maybe I should work on my weirdness though, because that helps.
No, I think you're perfect the way you are, and your
Oh.
podcast is a really
Oh.
cool.
Good,
idea.
John. You're good, John.
Thank you. I'm perfect. All right. Well, can I use that as like a review thing? Like
Yeah.
put on
Yes, you can.
You're perfect, Jonathan. Nicole. All right. So we're moving on to Dale. Dale, thank you again, Dale, because you've been on this show before, but you also been on Indie Film Cafe and a few others. We're gonna get Nicole. I like you a lot on this stuff. You have a lot to say. I'm gonna have you on more stuff. Don't worry.
I love horror. That's why I write it.
That's good. So we'll have you on more stuff. So Dale, what have you been up to? And this is not coming out till October, guys. So just get ready. But what have you been up to?
Well, I'm an actor here in Oklahoma, and I've been just been slow in the project wise. I'm actually in the middle of filming a short called Escape. It's kind of a psychological horror where I play a hitman in that one. It's really cool actually, but I really don't have a whole lot of lines. It's just more of a body language stuff. And then I'm still doing that series, The Joneses. It's like a comedy family TV pilot series here in Oklahoma. And then later this year, then we'll be doing more of our stuff together, John.
We're planning on it, man. So it's going to be a lot of fun.
It will be.
I'll give you more information later about stuff that's going on, but
Awesome.
when things actually start happening, that's the problem with indie film is just like money and things that actually happen and shit. So
oh my god, yes, dude.
But it happens. But in the meantime, you'll probably still be on more podcasts episodes and stuff because
Cool.
We love having you on.
I love being on it, man.
Yes, and like I said, Nicole, you're welcome on any of them because
thank you.
Yeah.
And I would totally be on another one again with you, Nicole. You're awesome.
Thank you. I'm going to add you on Facebook. I promise not to be weird.
Actually, I think I beat you to the punch. I think I added you first, but you can add me as well if you want.
I'll confirm your request then. We're right up.
I promise I'm not weird. I'm not going to put sexy in Messenger. Okay.
Like all the time. Like that's all he's going to write now.
Yeah. That's
the craziest thing. It's like for a year and a half, it was just that one word. No one's ever done that before.
Well, now someone has, so now nobody else can be the sexy guy.
No, they have to be another guy like, what's up, or something like that.
God, I hate that word. I hate
too.
it. I never say it. I don't think I've ever put that up there because it's so annoying. It's like, just put what's up. Like autocorrect is so easy, like to not shorten things, like it, like I get it before autocorrect things had to be shortened because people were just lazy, but like now we can actually, like have words and shit. The thing Paul does that pisses me off the most is, and he does this because I guess I send him messages and he just wants to like, let me know he's read them, but he'll just go thumbs up.
Right.
Oh,
that shit bothers me, man. So
I wish they do away with the thumbs up and they put like, maybe like a, just something else. But yeah, the thumbs up, I've hit that accidentally so many times. And I think I've been told like several times people don't like it because it's so like demeaning or almost like, it's like, that's great, whatever,
I have a couple readers who are really dedicated and they watch every story I post and they comment on each one. And I usually just send them a smiley face instead of the thumbs up.
Yeah, smiley face takes 2 seconds. Do that. You don't have to put the thumbs up, but he says it's because he's just busy at work, and so he just like puts the thumbs up because he wants it to go away. He doesn't want those notifications or whatever. And I said, well, still, that's So now I know whenever he's giving me the thumbs up, he just wants me to go away.
Oh, okay. He's his way of saying, go bye-bye. I'm working. Bye-bye.
I'm working or I'm doing something else or I'm busy. I can't talk to you right now. Because I can tell when he's actually reading it, or, like paying attention to what I'm sending him, because he'll send me messages back, But
Yeah.
anyway, that's just one of my little pet peeves. But it happens all the time. And it drives me nuts. It drives me nuts so much that I send them the really big thumb, back. I just make my thumb like extremely big. So when
In spite.
if people see that, they should know now. If you're listening and you're friends with me on Facebook and you see that, it's because I'm really mad that you gave me the thumbs up. So I'm just like, fuck you. So fuck you, thumb, to me. It's like I spent more time making this fucking big ass thumb just to send to you because you're being a dick. All right. Anyway, that's it. But thank you guys so much. This was awesome. I really had a fun time.
Yeah.
And everybody, cool. I mean, look, if you listen to this and you haven't seen Adam and Evil, oops, you probably now know the ending of the movie. But
again, it is easy to figure out.
It is.
So it's not completely spoiling, like, oh my God, it's detrimental. Yeah, no, it'll be all right.
Yeah, you're not really gonna, just like I said in that one thing, like, if you watch it, you're gonna know first 5 minutes what's going on. They set things up like that. But why we did explain that too. And you know what?
Mm-hmm.
It happens. This is going to be spoilers, so get ready or understand. But however, if you did like what we heard or have seen the movie, maybe even let us know what you guys think. Give us a thumbs up, give us a like on the thing, and tell us what you guys think. Did you guys enjoy Adam and Evil? That's the thing I love about doing this is there's not a lot of reviews of this movie too, and stuff. So I like that we're going to be like one of the ones, one of the only ones doing it, maybe there'll be more before this comes out. I don't know.
Well, and I like to say there's no bad horror because if you watch bad horror, it just turns into comedy.
It's true.
That is a good point. That is a very good point.
But you did say It Follows was sort of, I guess, kind of.
Yeah, but I could finish it like if I was drinking and I had it on in the background.
You do have your wine right now.
When there's a point in It Follows, which I won't spoil this for the people, where I just was like, okay, now it's just getting silly, and then I turned it off. But see, the word silly, I could keep watching as a comedy from there if I'd been a trooper.
Yeah. If you kind of just start taking it as like, this is kind of comedic. Let's keep going with it,
like if you're smoking some weed or you're having a drink, it's funny. That's what I do.
Yes.
It works too.
Indie Film Cafe, we condone that. So go do it. If it helps with the movie. We always say that because we always say like get your friends together and watch this shit, and stuff and have drinking games. Drink every time you see Evelyn. Maybe not. You might not get drunk, then
every time you see a tree.
Oh God. No.
You wouldn't make it very far in the middle before you're passed out drunk. Oh my God.
You're pretty much like, you're done. Once you got into the woods, that's like the woods is pretty much all the,
oh my God, yes.
Like half the movie is in the woods.
That's because it's cheap.
Okay, last thing I'm going to share is that we watched a movie. I swear to God, it was called Liking Colony. It's on Tubi, and if you want to talk about a horror film that becomes a comedy, this movie is a comedy from like the beginning, but unintentionally. So it is, it's a werewolf movie, and they actually green screened the woods.
Seriously?
Yeah. Does that even make any sense? Because like woods are so cheap to freaking just film in. Why would you do that? I don't understand at all. But they did that, and we're the only explanation I could come up with was that they got kicked out of the woods, somewhere. But then like Paul was like, why didn't he just get more woods? Go to another set of woods. And I'm like, there you go. I don't know. Maybe I don't, because you can get kicked out of the woods because woods are sometimes owned by people. I've gotten kicked out of my own woods in my backyard for filming something. They don't want you filming something there. If it's owned by somebody, they can actually kick you out of the property. but
Yeah.
I don't think it's that bad that you need to green screen it. So at least these people had real woods, you know, that
It's
they
true.
shot in. So
That's true.
I will give them that. I will give them credit for that. All right. Well, join us tomorrow for another fun, exciting day of 31 Days of Indie Horror. Bye, guys.
Bye.